I was telling Joseph before the talk, we jokingly in my classes refer to it as a crapolism. It's a pastiche of a lot of different Native American groups, and it's not really about the Maya, and it's got a lot of interesting Hollywoodisms, but it's a way to engage public audiences about the Maya, and who the Maya were, and why it's important to know about Native American groups throughout the Americas. And so I'm just very grateful to be here today. In case you've been living in a cave and don't know, there is a lot of talk on TV, in newspapers, in the media, online especially, those things called blogs. The blogosphere is just a buzz right now with this idea that's running around that December 21st, 2012 is the end of the world. And so what I wanted to do today is talk a little bit about where that idea comes from. What exactly did the ancient Maya say about this particular date and what will happen and what won't happen? Sort of unpack that a little bit. What has happened in recent years is that the Maya's belief about the calendar, about the universe, about December 21st, 2012 in particular, has become separated from their belief about the end of the world. And they have two different beliefs that have occurred at two different times, and I think a lot of it's in the media now that they sort of merge these things together and don't really fit. And so I want to bring that and put that in context so you understand what the Maya were really saying and what they really weren't saying. So, what is going to happen? Well, what could happen, what people say is, and this is true, the Maya were fabulous astronomers, and they really tracked the movement of our solar system, of the sun, the moon, Venus, of the Milky Way, and they track this and they do in great detail different patterns that universe and how it moves. And they said on the solstice, the winter solstice on December 21st, that comes this year, 2012, the Earth in its solar system is going to be pushing through to the other side of the Milky Way. And the Earth sort of in the solar system wanders around the Milky Way, and it does this, crosses this central plane, this central axis of the Milky Way, about every 26,000 years or so. And we have been sort of entering that middle of the Milky Way since the early 1990s. And on December 21st, we pop through to the other side. And so this has happened before, 26,000 years ago, and before that, and before that, so this is not something terribly new. But what people are saying is that when this happens, when we pop out on the other side of the Milky Way, some people are predicting a planetary polar shift, where north will become south. Okay? Don't know why. They say because of the extra and chaotic gravity going through the solar system, it will play with Kuiper belt. And then this is the belt of asteroids and space junk that sort of surrounds the Milky Way. And it will send comets and asteroids into the solar system and hit the Earth and all this kind of stuff. They say the extra pull on the planet might cause Mother Nature to go wild. We'll have more and severe earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, dramatic weather, that sort of thing. And then possibly a sun flare on the Earth could cause anywhere from radiation poisoning to everybody to set the entire Earth on fire. Isn't that exciting? A lot of possibilities for this. What is really, really fascinating, and this hasn't been in my previous talks because it just was published earlier this month. There was an Ipsos Global Public Affairs poll by Reuters News. They polled 16,262 adults in 21 different countries. So it's a big sample size. And they asked them if they strongly agreed, somewhat disagreed, or strongly disagreed with this statement. The Mayan calendar, which some says ends in 2012, marks the end of the world. And you can see that the vast majority, 73%, at least somewhat disagree. 16%, only 16% strongly disagree and think it's a bunch of malarkey. But this is what's of concern. 1 out of 10 agree. 10% in this sample of people across 21 countries throughout the world agree. That's a lot of people. That's 1,626.2 people that agree. Where are these people? That's my question. Let's look. The percent that agree, either strongly or somewhat agree by country. China, 20% in the sample agreed, 20% of people in China. In Mexico was 13%, about the same in the US, about 12%. The UK had about 7%, and Germany about 4%. There were lots of other countries and numbers. I just pulled some of the ones that were of interest. But 12%. It's a big sample, but it's not necessarily representative. But if it is representative of the entire population of the U.S., which is 370 million, something like that now, then we're looking at about 37 million people in the U.S. would believe that the world ends in 3 weeks. 37 million people. If the survey is representative, it's probably not. Even if it's not representative and just a fraction of this is true, say just 1 million, that's a lot of people. That's a whole lot of people that believe that the world is going to end. Either strongly believe or say, that's possible. That's 12%, so that's about 1 in 10 people, about 50 people here. So about 5 of you, raise your hands. Which 5 you believe? It's okay. That's all right. So what I'm trying to say is it's a big issue. It's a big topic. There are a lot of people out there that believe. And the survey just looked at adults, but other surveys are looking at children. And the proportion of children that believe this, and mainly getting this from the media and the internet and things like that, is much, much higher. And so that's what we're really concerned about, children. And nervousness about the end of the world, and there have been instances reported of suicide and all kinds of problems. And so that's what we're, see, the world's ending already. I gotta be careful what I say. But we're really interested in reaching the younger population, kids that are maybe more susceptible to believing these sorts of things, and that's a real concern. All right, so what are the experts saying? Anytime somebody makes a claim in the U.S., experts come out of anywhere. So, and actually, because of this concern about astronomical phenomena that's going to happen, NASA has set up a panel recently, about a week ago, a panel of experts, a panel of astrophysicists and heliophysicists to talk about what exactly is going on. And so here's what the experts are saying, and I'll read this for you. NASA heliophysicist says it's true that the sun is currently in an active phase of its cycle, meaning electromagnetic energy has picked up in recent months, so there are solar flares. But, he says, this particular solar maximum is the wimpiest that we've had. Scientists have no reason to expect solar storms beyond what our planet has already weathered in the past. So they're watching this stuff. They're watching for solar flares. They're watching for asteroids. They're watching for all these things. Another planetary scientist says the only close asteroid approach on the horizon is forecast to occur in February, almost Valentine's Day next year, when an asteroid will pass within 18,000 miles of the Earth. He says, okay, the asteroid is not going to hit Earth. 18,000 miles. Another astronomer says, sorry, we've studied this, the Earth's magnetic field will not suddenly reverse, the planet will not travel. Some people have argued that the planet will suddenly travel 30,000 light years and fall into a black hole. Physicists are saying that this is not really that possible. And you have some talking past each other here, because those beliefs that are being talked about the world's going to end are more spiritual and cosmological than they are in physics and reality. And yet our experts are all in physics, and you don't see any religious experts up here. So that's of interest. But finally, I like this comment from a NASA physicist. Ultimately, concerns about Earth's fate would be better focused on slow-acting problems, such as climate change, rather than some sort of cosmic catastrophe.